Okay, so the EPOMaker SK64 ABS. As far as 60% mechanical keyboards with arrow keys go, this is actually a fairly fun one to use. That is, as long as you're not interested in using your right shift key, you're absolutely going to love this keyboard. So in this video, we're going to talk about pretty much everything there is to know about this keyboard and why you may want to consider or not consider actually buying this keyboard. So first things first, like every other EPOMaker board, you get a box that basically says Skylung. When you open up the box, you're going to be greeted with the keyboard itself wrapped in a nylon material. When you take it out in all of its plastic glory, underneath it, you're going to get like a manual. And after that, you're going to get a braided USB-C cable, which is actually pretty high quality. I was surprised at this price point that they included a braided cable. And you also get a keycap removal tool and a key switch removal tool. Now the keycap removal that was included with this is the plastic kind, and if you don't want to damage your keycaps over time, it's wise to get a wired keycap puller. Moving on to the actual physical bits of this board, it's a plastic keyboard, but it actually feels so sturdy. When you try to flex it, you get almost no flex, which is actually quite impressive. On the back of the board, you're going to get 4 non-slip rubber fit. There is no adjustable fit, so what you see is what you get, and the inkling is actually pretty decent, so you're not going to have any problems with the ergonomics. Aside that, you're going to get the USB-C port on the top left corner, and that's pretty much everything there is to know about the physical bits of this keyboard. Now, to my least favorite thing about this keyboard, the keycaps. These are ABS plastic keycaps, and they are the really clacky, chippy, plasticky kind. They're just not fun to type on, and I absolutely hate the font on this. This keyboard also uses optical switches, so my unit came with optical Gateron Reds, which were fine to type on, but because of these keycaps, they truly sounded terrible. The stabilizers on this were not much to write home about either, because there was a lot of rattle on my spacebar and I wasn't particularly impressed with what I was getting every time I had to go eat the spacebar. Oh, and just FYI, this keyboard is actually unswappable, so you can change out your Gateron optical switches for other Gateron optical switches as you wish. And speaking of the typing experience and typing sounds from this keyboard with the Gateron optical red switches, here is a quick short typing test to help you determine what this actually sounds and feels like when you type with it. Now for the RGB for this keyboard, you can actually turn it on and off with the function backspace key, and you can actually use function P or function either of the brackets to pretty much check different RGB lighting effects. There's a bunch of them on this keyboard and they're actually quite fancy. The RGB on this keyboard is also pretty bright, so I guess kudos. But moving away from that, there's a few things that you should actually consider before you decide to actually buy this keyboard. The first being the right shift key being a 1U, which is absolutely ridiculous. The second being the fact that that was one of the concessions they had to make to pretty much provide you with the arrow keys. And to the right side of the up arrow key, you get a delete button. I'm not sure what that's doing there, but it's there. So this ABS unit is basically going to be completely wired, so there's no wireless mode, and you get ABS keycaps which are not that great, stabilizers are not that great, and you're still paying around $65 for it. There's also all that weirdness off to the right side of the keyboard to consider with the layout, with the 1U shift key and the delete key, and the fact that you're probably never going to be able to completely successfully change your keycap set. I mean, you could, but yeah, it's gonna look weird. Ultimately, this is a really decent keyboard that I wish was just slightly cheaper. Thank you so much for watching this video, and I guess I will see you on another video that was shot by Kagan. Peace! The Khan of God!